It looks like Micheál Martin's plan to pick Jim Gavin as the presidential candidate over former member, TD, Senator, Minister and MEP Billy Kelleher might have been a bad decision. Despite the fact that he is now denying it, Jim Gavin's campaign kickstarted with a blunder over what he described as Israel's military objectives, something that was seen by many as a way of excusing the genocide taking place in Gaza. But things went from bad to worse when Fianna Fáil's Jim Gavin went head to head with a former barrister, psychologist and experienced debater, Catherine Connolly. Catherine Connolly might have a kind face, but she graciously humiliated Mr Gavin on live TV, whilst Fine Gael's Heather Humphreys did her best to avoid the wrath of Catherine Connolly, who criticised the government on everything from housing and healthcare to neutrality, war and Palestine. But if Micheál Martin thought that the bad days were over, he was sadly mistaken, because just this weekend it emerged that the man who was representing the party who brought us the worst housing crisis in history was also a landlord. Despite Jim Gavin's repeated reminders that he served in the Defence Forces, he also had another source of income too, from an apartment that he was renting out in Dublin. Now that's not the crime of the century, but what's more interesting is the fact that the couple that he was renting to have a slightly different story. See, according to the couple, Jim Gavin wasn't the best landlord on the planet. In fact, they say that he was pretty slow to get things done and they spent only 2 years in the apartment. Job done. Or not. Because just a few months after moving out, the couple realised that rent was still being taken from their account and deposited into Mr Gavin's account. So they did what any normal people would do and they simply asked Jim Gavin for their money back. The only problem was that Jim Gavin had apparently disappeared. He didn't answer their phone calls, so they got in touch with the bank, and the bank told them that he wouldn't answer them either, so then they contacted his job. But even then, Mr Gavin, for some reason, still didn't want to speak to the couple whose money was sitting in his account. Eventually, the couple were left with no choice but to contact Jim Gavin's parents, and they were finally able to get in touch with Mr Gavin, who assured them that he would refund them their money. And they all lived happily ever after. Except they didn't, because according to the couple, they never received a single cent of the money that was sitting in Jim Gavin's account. Now, Jim Gavin denies this, of course. Actually, no, Jim Gavin doesn't deny it. What he says is that he can't remember it, which, in my opinion, is a bit different from denying it. And on top of all of that, it has now emerged that Jim Gavin didn't even register the tenancy, which makes the whole thing even worse. So, are you going to give your vote to Jim Gavin? Let me know down below.